You're watching Akasan and Drama Report here. Top 10 behind the scenes MCU dramas. Let's see if it's for reals.
You seem to be cool with Robert Downey Jr. again. Is there any chance you come back and do an Iron Man or Avenger movie?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 behind-the-scenes MCU dramas.
What would you say is the biggest difference between approaching a Marvel project versus a DC project?
I don't think there's much difference.
For this list, we'll be looking at feuds and creative
I don't know what
differences
Super
between
Crooks is.
actors, directors, and studios that took place during this comic book
Oh
company's
boy.
production.
Oh boy.
What behind-the-scenes disputes shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Edgar Wright leaves the production.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'm Ant-Man. Ant-Man? What, you haven't heard of me?
Famous for his quirky
TikTok.
comedies like Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, director Edgar Wright had people excited.
That was a
his
big
passion
one
for
when he left,
Ant-Man
though.
into the MCU.
Oh
It was
well.
also good news to hear that he had been working on different versions of a script since the mid-2000s, before the MCU had really gotten off the ground. Wright's enthusiasm for Ant-Man made it shocking to hear that he left the production months before shooting was set to begin.
Well, you're fired, of course.
Right, but from what I recall, the biggest problem was his version of Ant-Man. He wanted to basically do like he wanted everybody in this movie. And, just at that time, the MCU just does not work like that, particularly around that time. It was very interesting, but, oh well. But yeah, when he left, that was that was one of the first times you would hear an acclaimed director basically kind of leaving.
Keep you on. Wait, what?
After Wright and Disney released a joint statement citing creative differences as the reason for his departure, he was replaced by Peyton Reed. While Ant-Man was still a success, fans will always wonder what could have been.
Release the right cut.
Skilled people. Not interested.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm serious, man. I'm not going back.
Number 9. MCU films.
This one's the best one. I don't know if they're gonna mention it, but Kevin Feige legit choked a dude. He had his hands on this one dude's throat over this whole situation, man. It's crazy.
How long Hydra's been inside S.H.I.E.L.D., but they are taking control.
Hydra? What? Where?
Everywhere.
While this may be hard to
Who is that
imagine
girl?
in post-one
She looks
season
familiar.
world, there was a time where the quality of MCU's TV properties was really inconsistent. And despite Marvel's insistence that everything was in the same universe, the films barely seemed to acknowledge the TV shows.
Captain America has defeated the helicarriers at the Triskelion, but his status is unknown.
Oh God, that's right. Is that Madam Hydra? That's right. We did have wait, was that Madam Hydra? And that's kind of what V is supposed to be playing now, finally, as they're creeping it into the Disney Plus world. But God, I think she was a Hydra agent. Yeah. The wife from Black Lightning. That's why she looks familiar. Okay, let's keep going.
And S.H.I.E.L.D. has fallen.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actress Chloe Bennett once called the show, quote, the black sheep of the MCU.
Damn.
Multiple creatives expressed frustration that certain characters or plots couldn't be used if the films needed them. And after jumping through all of these hoops, it became unclear whether any of these shows were even canon.
True.
Now that new MCU series are releasing on Disney Plus, we can expect the studio to distance itself further from these early shows.
Oh,
Suddenly
definitely.
our plane shuts down. Our communication's jammed.
I don't know what's happening. I wish I did. You have to believe me.
No, I don't.
Number 8.
I do remember that. I may remember that. And what's more interesting is especially that. Okay, so they're not talking about I thought they were going to talk about the whole Netflix. I guess the Netflix drama is a little different. That's the one where. But no. I put specifically, I think it was the TV part where they choked that dude out. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest issues I have about the Netflix stuff is I love Daredevil, but if you're gonna bring my boy Kingpin onto Hawkeye, don't nerf him. Don't nerf him. This man crushed the dude's head in a car door. We want to keep that energy, man.
Rourke insults Marvel movies.
Oh God, forgets this guy.
The reason I'm alive is because you had a shot, you took it, you missed.
Did I?
Mickey Rourke had a few negative things to say to Marvel
few?
after Iron Man 2. While he didn't play the worst Marvel villain of them all, his role as Whiplash was largely forgettable.
Yep.
The actor later expressed his disappointment in the film's final version of his character, Whiplash. He said the studio, quote, wanted a one-dimensional bad guy, so most of the performance ended up on the floor. Rourke
Whatever.
also called the MCU movies mindless.
I want my bird.
A bird? You want a bird?
I want my bird.
Although it's unclear what exactly happened behind the scenes, it's clear the actor felt like he could have brought more to the role.
Whatever.
It's safe to say that fans would have definitely liked to see a more complex take on Whiplash.
You lose.
I mean, I can already confirm that he was like a dick dude. Like nobody liked working with him on set. So there's also a whole nother reason about that. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes stories about how he was just so difficult to work with. They usually are. Those types usually are. Yep, still took that paycheck.
Number 7. Don Cheadle replaces Terrence Howard.
Oh no.
Hey, Tony.
Next time.
I'm sorry, this is the fun bee. The humdrum bee's back there.
Next time.
Nice job.
See you back, bitch.
The MCU is no stranger to recasting its actors. After all, Mark Ruffalo notably took over for Edward Norton as the Hulk. But the high-profile replacement that really turned heads was the announcement that Terrence Howard would no longer play James Rhodes.
Next time, baby.
I mean, this dude literally was paid more than Robert Downey Jr. in the first Iron Man movie. That is crazy.
In between the first 2 Iron Man films, Howard was reportedly offered less money to reprise his role. The actor later implied that the money he was promised went to upping Robert Downey Jr.'s paycheck. After Howard couldn't come to terms with Marvel over his pay, his involvement in the film ended, and he was replaced by Don Cheadle. The latter actor has done such a great job that few fans are bothered now by this recasting.
Correct.
I expect to see you here. Look, it's me. I'm here to deal with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's funny to me because, like, could you see, here's the one thing about the whole Terrence Howard thing is Terrence Howard has gone on to do other movies, you know what I mean, and be in other, like, he's been in some big series, Empire, some other stuff, right? But you know, Don, as much as I like seeing him in Marvel stuff, it seems like that's the only notable stuff that he's doing nowadays, because he's kept really busy all the time. Like, once you get into Disney, you don't get out. Like once you cash in, you can't cash out ever. And you know, so that's the thing. Like, Don did do a few things. He did that movie with Denzel Washington, Flight, right? But you know, now he's the Marvel guy. He's basically the Marvel guy. And that's a good point. That's good and bad. But ideally, yeah, I've liked what Don has done now, as he is the roadie. He is roadie. I still prefer Terrence. Aesthetically, Terrence Howard has a better build, you know, but yeah, it's great. Can you just imagine? Would Terrence Howard have continued to Don so what? That's been like 10 years now? That's a lot of time, man. That's a lot of time to be part of that franchise. But let's continue.
Let's move on.
Number 6. Jeremy Renner wanted Hawkeye to die.
When?
Oh, really?
You're gonna be all right.
Really?
You knew that? Is that what you knew?
Hawkeye went from being just another hero with a bow and arrow to an Avenger with an incredibly deep backstory. Throughout the years, we watched him protect his secret family, cope with losing them after the snap, and get chosen to headline his own show on Disney+. But all of that almost never happened. While filming the first Avengers movie in 2012, actor Jeremy Renner repeatedly asked to be killed off so he wouldn't have to reprise the role.
Have you ever had someone take your brain and play? Pull you out. Stuff something else in.
He was frustrated that he spent most of the film as a brainwashed minion instead of a fully formed character. Fortunately, the creatives didn't listen to his requests and gave him more opportunities to grow.
You know what I've become.
Oh, I don't judge people on their worst
his mistakes.
Number 5, Joss.
Yo, that would have been the dumbest thing ever. Like that would have that may have killed the Avengers franchise before he even got off the ground. Like killing Coulson, that's one thing, right? It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But killing Hawkeye in the first movie, yo, people would have clowned that so bad. Like this dude died. Like this dude died in the first episode, like the first team up and everything. Oh, that would have been terrible, man. Speaking of people that are very difficult to work with, all right, let's continue. Oh God, the infamous, oh my God, this one, Avengers Age of Ultron.
Joss Whedon runs into problems during Avengers Age of Ultron.
So you're going for artificial intelligence and you didn't want to tell the team.
Oh boy.
That's right. You know why? Because we don't have time for a city hall debate.
Seeing writer and director Joss Whedon's name on a superhero project was once a good...
Remember when we all felt bad for him? Anyways. Oops.
Good sign for the fans. People were especially psyched for his next project after he worked on the very successful 2012 Avengers film. However, things started to go downhill when it came time for the 2015 sequel, Avengers Age of Ultron.
I'm sorry. I know you mean well. You just didn't think it
Such a good movie. Such a good movie.
You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change.
Behind the scenes, Whedon and the studio disagreed about certain story beats.
Yep.
Marvel executives were also concerned that the creative was giving too much attention to developing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show.
True.
And scheduling conflicts between actors made Whedon have to rethink certain scenes. These production hurdles likely contributed to Age of Ultron's mixed reception.
City's flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow.
What mixed reception? It still did $1 billion something dollars.
Ike Perlmutter versus everyone. It's long been rumored that Ike Perlmutter,
here we go. Yeah.
butted heads with notable...
I think this is the dude that Kevin Feige choked out, dude. He put his hands on this dude like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like literally, and that's exactly why you don't see the films ever really mentioning the Netflix stuff.
Marvel figures over the years, and there were suggestions that he didn't have faith in female-led films.
Yeah.
Former Disney CEO Bob Iger hinted that Perlmutter made it difficult to get films out with diverse or female leads. Black Panther and Captain Marvel were specifically named as projects that Iger had to push harder for.
How do I look? Fresh.
Over the years, the company was restructured, so Feige no longer had to work directly under Perlmutter.
Yeah.
Since then, Captain Marvel and Black Panther each grossed over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. Their massive success was the best way for Feige and Iger to prove Perlmutter wrong.
With all due respect, King T'Challa, what can a nation of farmers have to offer the rest of the world?
Oh
Number
my God!
3,
Hold on. All right, because I know you guys really want to know what happens. Hold on. Let me search that. Let me see if I can quickly get that really. Kevin Feige chokes out. Yeah, chokes out. No, that's not it. Ike. Hold on. Ike. Yeah. So if I remember, it was just some sort of fight or something where he, like they were arguing about the whole situation of the direction of where they're going with the MCU and the MCU on TV or something like that. And like there was one other person that had to break Kevin Feige up from choking Ike in an office one time. And then from that point on, they're like, all right, Kevin Feige no longer needs to directly report. If somebody can look it up, like by the end of this video, if I can't find it immediately here, so we'll let's just continue with the reaction. But it's a crazy story. Like it's almost as bad as Amy Pascal throwing a sandwich at Kevin Feige back in the days when like he was like, yeah, you want threw a fucking sandwich at his ass, dude. Like, yo, Kevin Feige's been was taking mad shit back in the day. He doesn't have to take it anymore. That's crazy. Let's keep going.
Natalie Portman gets distance from the MCU.
Hi. So what's the story with you?
Why does there have to be a story? There's no story.
After earning an Oscar for 2010's Black Swan, it's understandable to see why Natalie Portman wanted more to work with than she was given as Jane Foster in Thor. Despite being an accomplished astrophysicist, Jane didn't really have complex motivations or a challenging role. Portman mainly wanted to return for Thor: The Dark World because Patty Jenkins was set to direct at the time. But when Jenkins left the project due to creative differences, the actress had to...
Funny story. That's not even Jane Foster, actually. That's not even Natalie Portman. That's actually Chris Hemsworth's wife, because Chris Hemsworth didn't want to kiss anybody other than his wife or something. It was something like that. So they put his wife in a wig to do this scene.
Jenkins was set to direct at the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But when Jenkins left the project due to creative differences,
that's actually his wife.
The actress had to continue without her.
That's why you don't see her face. Like, they superimposed her face later, dude. It's crazy. Maybe that's a rumor, but I'm pretty sure that was like common knowledge for anybody back in the scenes. Or was it a scheduling situation? No, I'm pretty damn sure it had to do with the fact that Chris Hemsworth would only wants to kiss his wife. That's weird.
After not returning to film a post-credits scene, follow-up MCU films kept explaining away her absence.
Sorry to hear that Jane dumped you.
She didn't dump me, you know. I dumped her. It was a mutual dumping.
It seemed like Portman's Marvel career was over. However, thanks to Taika Waititi and
what
other
about Kat
creative
Dennings?
talent, she's back on board for Thor 4.
It's been a very strange day.
I am. Jane, what?
I liked this
Where
movie.
were you?
Where were you?
Number 2, the firing and
Oh boy, this should be number 1. I can't imagine what could be bigger than
everybody
this.
to hate you because it's working.
While the MCU parted ways with directors before they got a chance to make their films, it was very different with James Gunn.
This fucked up
His
everything.
first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies were universally beloved when Disney fired him. But once extremely controversial tweets from Gunn's past resurfaced in 2018, he was removed from production on the 3rd volume of the series. While the company moved on, a number of fans and the cast largely stood behind the director.
The entire cast
even claimed he'd quit the film if Gunn's script wasn't used. While Gunn was working on the Suicide Squad, he was informed that he'd been rehired again. After a lot of back and forth, production on Volume...
I love the fact that Warner Brothers were like... Warner Brothers was like, oh shit, what? Oh, we'll snatch him up real quick. Like Grace Randolph up here like, oh God, no. Like, yo, Warner Brothers does not care. You could literally choke a woman on camera and still have your own movie. You can cut somebody's finger and still be the lead female in a movie. You could beat up Johnny Depp and still, Warner Brothers, they don't care. They're just, okay, well, all right, man. But bad tweets from 10 years ago. No. Yeah. You want to fight? Let's go.
3 would continue as planned.
We're saving the galaxy again? I guess. Awesome!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Man, well, I'm really trying to think. What could? Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Let me. Yeah, Warner Brothers is the controversy. The controversy is what fuels Warner Brothers films sometimes. I can't imagine what could be bigger in the Disney. Spider-Man. It's definitely Spider-Man. It has to be. That's the only thing that was bigger than James Gunn was when Spider-Man was pulled from the MCU for like a month or 2 months.
You have the option to
That's
be
gotta
notified
be
for
it.
occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone,
The internet
make sure
lost
you go
their
into your settings and
freaking
switch on
minds.
notifications.
We had memorials for him and everything.
Number 1, Scarlett Johansson sued.
Oh! Oh, ScarJo. Okay. You know, the Spider-Man thing, honestly, I think was a little bit bigger at the moment, but I guess because that got resolved so quickly. But this got resolved. I disagree. I think number 2 was bigger, honestly. Number 2 was bigger. This got resolved, but it was funny. It was kind of funny, though. The memes that we spawned out of this was great, dude. With the screen cap of her from Endgame, he was like, "See you in court." Oh my god.
Do you believe me now? How many others?
Oops.
Enough.
For most people, taking on a company as big as Disney is too frightening to imagine, but Scarlett Johansson was willing to do so. The trouble started after Disney released the long-awaited Black Widow solo film in theaters and on Disney Plus simultaneously in 2021. Johansson sued because she claimed less money came to her because the film was available to stream when it was supposed to be a theatrical exclusive.
Right.
What was her name? Unknown.
No, shout outs to ScarJo.
You don't feel anything.
However, Disney initially called her out for not considering the effect the pandemic had on their plans. Marvel mainstays like
Yo, when Disney clapped back, that was crazier. To be honest, like that was even crazier. That people were Scarlett Johansson was like, "What?" Disney generally does not clap back like that. So that's what was, Disney's like, okay, let's just shut up. Here's some hush money. Let's settle this privately, right? Yo, Disney was like, no, how dare she? That was funny, man.
Kevin Feige were not happy with how the company communicated with Johansson.
Right.
Although the actress and the studio eventually worked things out, the lawsuit brought her tenure as Black Widow to a dramatic conclusion.
Whatever. Okay, Watch Mojo. I mean, like, that was legit. It was done. Like, it's not like now, if she sued them, if she sued them before Endgame, let's say that. Let's just say hype in the multiverse world. If Black Widow came out before Endgame, right? And then they killed her in Endgame. I'm sorry, they killed her in Infinity War. Then that would have been like, oh snap, Disney. This was they can't deal with her anymore, so they killed her ass like that. That would have been crazy, right? But no, I mean, we knew her story was pretty much done after Endgame, Infinity War. No, what am I talking about? Endgame. I'm so sorry. Endgame. After Endgame, and just the Black Widow movie was just kind of bonus. But yeah, come on now, like that. Yeah.
Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo,
Whatever.
And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that the Spider-Man Sony drama, the MCU, the Marvel / Disney versus Sony drama was not on here. Because I honestly think that was quite big. That was quite big, and it's still ongoing in terms of like how are they going to handle this. Is Venom technically part of the MCU now, right? You ask Kevin Feige, he might give you a whole nother story. Quite interesting, man. Quite interesting. Anyways, and speaking of Black Widow, is Yelena gonna show up? Is she showing up in Hawkeye or not? Because I thought the end credits for Black Widow essentially was going to lead into the Hawkeye story, but with only 4 episodes left, the Hawkeye show seems to be going a different direction. Like they don't have time to really bring in Yelena. So what does that mean? Yeah, whatever, man. All right. Red Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Let me know what you guys think about this drama. Was there more drama? Was there more to it? I personally think the Spider-Man Sony thing would have been one of the bigger ones, but certainly behind. I guess because the Sony Spider-Man thing was not really so behind the scenes. That was really public situation. But I'm telling you, Kevin Feige choking out a dude has to be one of the biggest ones right there. And then Amy Pascal throwing a sandwich at Kevin Feige is but I guess that's not technically within the MCU. Whatever, man. All right, we'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.